Section 37 of the Charterhouse of Parma by Stendhal, translated by C.K. Scott Moncrief. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain, read by Peter Dann. Fragment 2, Il Conte Zorafi, the Prince's Press. Count Zerla, the Minister of the Interior, brought to Signora Sanseverini's Count Zorafi, who was the Press of Parma. At the gatherings at which he appeared, that silence which is often painful at official gatherings could not find a place, and in a country which has a terrible police and a state prison, the tower of which 180 feet high may be seen at the end of every street, all gatherings of more than 2 persons may be considered official. One thing that may be said in praise of Zorafi is that he was no more of a spy than any other gentleman at court. In fact, at heart he was ridiculous, but not at all wicked. No other gentleman at court could, without risk to his friends, have seen the sovereign daily. Zorafi fancied himself a minister, and was afraid of Count Mosca. At the same time he was obliged, 10 times in a month perhaps, to speak evil of him. When the Conte had scored a marked success in any affair, he was certain to be blamed the day after by the prince's press. Count Zorafi was a man of spirit who could not bear to have 50 Napoleons in his desk. As soon as he saw that sum, or indeed a much less considerable sum in his possession, he would think of spending it. For instance, on the day on which we shall do him the honour of presenting him to the reader, he will have just bought for 45 Napoleons a magnificent English lustre. The purchase made, not knowing where to place it, and already caring less about it, he has asked Prenot, the famous jeweller, to keep it in his shop. This Conte had spent his youth in composing sonnets in an emphatic style over which the people of Lombardy had gone so mad as to compare them to the sonnets of Monte. Now, in some connection or other, someone had ventured to say in public that this style, which was so emphatic, was emphatic with the simple character of Napoleon. It had required only this comment to make Zorafi's sonnets fall into disrepute. And a surprising thing, Zorafi, whose character was precisely that of a conceited child, had not shown the slightest annoyance. Besides, what was more serious than the decline of his sonnets, he had an income of barely 9 or 10,000 lire, and spent 25. In spite of these 25,000 lire, he frequently had debts, and these debts were paid every year by an unseen hand. What then was Zorafi? He was the prince's press. He was a Conte, as everyone is in Italy, but besides that he had enjoyed the greatest literary renown for 10 years. Zorafi was not at all wicked, or at least had only the ill temper of a child. He had the purest Sienese accent. The sentences flowed from his lips with a perfect facility. He spoke of everything with charm. In a word, nothing would have been lacking if from time to time he could have found some idea to place in his sentences. A little time since, the prince had given Zorafi a carriage, but this was on condition of his paying at least 25 visits daily. "It does not suit me at present to have a newspaper printed," the prince had said to him in making him a present of the carriage, with horses attached, and a coachman and groom to boot. "A newspaper conducted by a man of your sort would have a crowd of subscribers. Very well, have a crowd of friends, and tell them, with the spirit for which you are distinguished, the articles that you would print if you had the privilege of the newspaper. One day you shall have this newspaper, and it will bring you an income of 50,000 lire, for I shall give you plenty of liberty. You will speak of the measures adopted by my government." Once they had observed this mania in Zorafi, people listened to him in society, as in another place they read the Journal officiel. End of section 37. End of The Charterhouse of Parma by Stendhal, translated by C.K. Scott Moncrief.